Do you need to know for this week, just to help you get through? This is a quick Oracle card reading for the week commencing the 16th of September. And I'm Anne Barrett of Empowering Health. I'm a holistic health practitioner as well as a spiritual coach, helping you with your alignment towards your evolution and towards ascension. And today I'm going to do a 3-card reading, which I've not done here before. I do them with clients when they come and see me, or when I have online sessions for clients. I also do remote healings as well as readings, should you need them. And I'm going to use 3 sets of decks. The first one is the Wisdom of the Hidden Realm by Colette Baron-Reid. So this is going to represent where your matter has come online from, so how this relates to the past of the issue. Then for present time, like in the now, this is from the intrinsic intuition cards for love and healing, what you need right now. And then my favorite cards are from the Shadowscape Companion, and this is what you need to know moving forward. So before I start, you can pause here if you need to, is set an intent, what it is that you need advice on right now, what it is you want the cards to tell you, or you could simply say, what do I need to know right now? You could have something going on with your financial well-being. You could have something going on at work. You could have something going on with your health. You could have something going on with your relationships, or you could have something going on with your spiritual health and well-being. So choose one or something, and that you want this reading to be about, an intent that the information that you receive today is relevant to that. So let's start with the Wisdom of the Hidden Realm. I'm going to shuffle these cards to find out what it is that, where this situation may have come from, or what it is that you may have been experiencing, though it's past tense. Choices that you may have been making. These cards work either upright or as the ally, or in reverse as the challenger. So I'm just intuitively going to a card that's not relevant. It's about the illustrator. It's interesting. Maybe that did have relevance, but I'm going to ignore that one. Here we go. And this card's appearing as our challenger, interestingly. So it's come in upside down. And it's the Lady of the Mirror. Reflection and non-judgment. So in what way, have you been judging others, judging things, judging the situation? Judging tends to be left brain activity, the masculine, the ego self, the one that needs to control a situation. So how can you let go of judgment and accept? So judgment is also a way for some people to consider themselves better than others. That's why we make a judgment. We're all, like I too, find myself judging sometimes as something is good versus bad, right versus wrong, me knowing better than somebody else. But that's a way of us separating ourselves from somebody else as well and pushing them away. So in what way can you change your perspective on that situation, or just accept that the situation is the way it is and we may not have control over it? How can that bring a sense of ease? Because if you think about, the way that you're analyzing a situation and judging it and maybe needing to control it, how that brings this sense of tenseness and tightness until like we want to burst. And because of the frustration, that's a lot of wasted energy that you're actually giving away to somebody else, rather than taking that stance of just accepting, okay, maybe they have their lessons to learn and they haven't learned them yet. And you have your lessons to learn from this situation. So how can you just accept it the way it is and choose to move forward so that you can move forward in a more empowered way without judging, being non-judgmental? Because the situation also calls for reflection. There's the saying that perception is projection. So in context of this situation that you've been experiencing, what is it that you don't like about it? And all those things, how are they reflected back in you? So what if I don't like, the choices somebody's making? It's like, what choices within me am I not liking about myself that I'm making? I'm making the choice of judgment in this scenario. Is it about somebody's eating habits and judging someone for their weight? It's like, well, what are my eating habits like? What is my weight and health and well-being like? How can I choose to keep myself happy and healthy? Like, don't worry about the other person. Unless, of course, they're immediate family. But you can lead by example then, because your energy gives off to others. Okay, so that's for our where we've been and where we need to move forward from, because remember, this came as the challenger. So it's challenging you to reflect on how what it is that you're judging may be reflected back in you. Sorry, my cat's coming past again. Next is for the present moment of this situation. And I love these, just like the way that it's packaged. It's in a round container rather than a square edge box. There's a beautiful velvety feeling bag that these cards come in. And because I can't quite shuffle these cards, I'm just going to bang them on the table to help shift the energy and find out what it is that we need for the present moment. Because everything we need to come back to the present, right in this very moment. Think about all the good things that are going on. Right in this moment, you are safe. Right in this moment, you are healthy. Right in this moment, you are feeling good. Or maybe not fearful because you are safe. Right in this moment, this very second, there's nothing to worry about. And the card that's coming up is 3 breaths. Breathe in peace, breathe out tension. Breathe in peace, breathe out anxiety. Breathe in peace, breathe out worry. We'll do that shortly. Let's talk first. 3 breaths is also helps our autonomic nervous system. So when we're stressed, when we've been judging someone, getting angry at someone, getting frustrated at things in a situation that we can't change, as was in the past with that previous card, we can get all anxious and we go into a state of fight and flight response. And our whole nervous system starts to respond as though we're out to fight the woolly mammoth if we're going to primitive times. And our parasympathetic nervous system then powers down. It's like it works on a seesaw scale, with the vagus nerve as our switch in the middle, switching between the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. And so when we go into that state of stress, our parasympathetic nervous system powers down, which is this one, and which represents our whole digestive system, our whole reproductive system, and our front brain activity. Sometimes we can't think clearly because when we're in fight and flight, we go to the reactive, primitive mind in order to just react without logical thinking in front. And this is when sometimes we start to feel foggy brained and we start to feel nauseous in our stomach because our stomach can't digest because it's powered down because we're in a state of stress. And then this has this on-flow effect. So if you're in a state of stress for a very long time, which many of us are, like there's statistics somewhere that say like over 90% of us are stuck in a state of fight and flight simply because of the way that we live nowadays, because we always have to be on alert, because there's so much exposure to EMFs and Wi-Fi, because we've always got deadlines at work, we have to get to somewhere on time, and we can't just live with the flows of nature and eat foods when they're in season. We're just eating season like foods all year round. And this is reminding you right in this present moment to come back to 3 breaths. Let it all go. Using the mind as well, because what the mind can conceive, the mind can achieve. It doesn't always know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. And so as I read this now, I'd like you to take your breaths. And again, so breathing in peace and breathing out tension. Breathing in peace and breathing out anxiety. Breathing in peace and breathing out all the worries that no longer serve you, and they never did. So remember, when you start judging, we'll go back to the first card, catch yourself out, because maybe judgment has formed part of your neurological programming now. We need to change that. It's time to change. So every time you catch yourself judging, say stop to yourself, take in 3 breaths, because you want to start now, like imagine that your programming is like all these chinks, maybe in like this bracelet, like a stitch in time. you're needing to now break those chinks in your chain, in your neurological chain. And so by changing the pattern, like the automatic response of the past, you're going to say stop. That's already creating one break in that circuit. Take in 3 breaths. That's creating another longer break. Maybe go for a walk. Maybe just go to the loo if you're at work. But start creating more of a break between the initial thought and then the way that you respond, even if it's the way you respond internally with a tight chest. It's like, no, stop. 3 breaths. Breathe it out. Okay. Then we're going to moving forward what it is that you need. So this is from the beautiful Shadowscape Companion. My cat's wanting to come back again. And you keep him inside at nighttime and still morning here because our council where we live, it's a requirement that cats stay inside at nighttime to protect the wildlife, of which we do have quite a bit around at night. But there are many other cats around at nighttime as well, and they come and visit my cat and they start singing opera all night long because my cat's inside and he wants to go out to play with the other cats, or the other cats are trying to take over his territory. Well, what does that mean? Okay. So while these are traditional tarot cards, I don't read them that way always. I look more for the insights within the visuals of each card. And this one is the 10 of Wands. Moving forward, I just love all the visions and illustrations here. Now, what's the first thing that your eye's drawn to? For me, it was this. It's like an amulet. It's like a symbol of protection. It's like an eye, the all-seeing, the all-knowing. What do you need to see? What vision do you see for your future? How can that guide you and protect you to move forward in the best way possible? And look, we have here someone supporting us. No, and supporting you in your world. So sometimes we don't see what's hidden underneath. Knowing that we are supported in our endeavors, we might not literally see it, but this is telling you that you are supported. So in what area, depending on what theme of intent you've put forward for this session today, how are you being supported really? What have you been maybe pushing back? Because sometimes I talk about it in the context of the 5-element flow in kinesiology and the earth element. Like, let's go back to the basics. Like, she's symbolizing supporting that part of that world. And so Mother Nature, the earth, Mother Gaia, the earth's frequencies can support you. We go back to the breath, back to judgment. Sometimes if we're letting our left brain rule and dominate, we get caught up in our heads and all this electrical frequency going where and creating maybe even tension in our muscles and in our body. The breath helps to bring us back to center, and then maybe we need to ground ourselves, to root ourselves, to take shoes off, go barefoot on the grass, to ground yourself, to discharge. So just as an electrical plug has 3 points, the bottom one is for grounding, so that you're not going to get electric shocks. If there's too many positive ions in the air, the heat, the wind, we start getting static. And even in an office environment, we get a lot of static. And that means we're not grounded enough. Maybe we're not hydrated enough. And so are you supporting yourself by grounding, by spending enough time in nature, by having your bare feet on the ground where possible? Because you are supported. So other ways, sometimes you resist, people actually offer you support, and you reject it because you think, oh, I can do it all myself. I have to do it myself. I've always been doing it that way. But again, that could be your programming. Next time someone offers you support, take it. Say, thank you. I appreciate your support. Let's do it to help you achieve your goals. And maybe it's not even someone in this physical world. Maybe it's your guardian angels that have been with you since the time you were born. You have to give them permission to support you, because if you've been rejecting it, they're there, but you've said no. So now start asking for that guidance. Are you connected in with your higher self, your all-seeing, your all-knowing self? Are you connected with your inner self? These three parts of you should be all working together, but sometimes we've forgotten how to listen to our heart self, that soul self that resides in the heart. Maybe because the inner child has been hurt in the past and isn't trusting anymore, isn't feeling worthy anymore, isn't feeling loved anymore. So in what way do you need to maybe connect in with your heart space? There's a meditation on this YouTube page called Heart Brain Coherence. I've written that one to help guide you to get out of your mind, to get out of the judgment, connecting back in with the heart space. And that's a great way to start with being able to come back to that level of support that you need in order to be able to move forward with your goals. Reach out if you've got any other questions. I'm going to leave it there for now. And I'm Anne Barrett of Empowering Health. I do one-on-one readings, but I also specialize in holistic health, as well as helping to raise your vibrations to help the greater good of the world with raising its vibration. And another way of doing that is working with frequencies. And I work with the AO scan technology, which is an amazing tool. It's like one of the world's most advanced wellbeing tools, which you can also have in the power of your hands. If you're also into meridians and chakras, then it can also help to identify, which ones are out of balance, and then provide the optimizing frequencies to help balance those. It's a tool you can use every day for yourself and for your family and friends to support them, but it also looks at toxicity and your nutrition, all these amazing things, as particularly emotions, because according to Chinese theory, emotions get assigned to different organs, and then that's where the dis-ease and discomfort comes from in the body, as well as blocking our energy flow. So, remember, your physical self is a representation of your greater world. It's like this is the microcosm of the macrocosm. By working on your inner self, you're also changing your outer self and your outer reality. I'm Anne Barrett of Empowering Health, and wishing you an amazing week ahead.